Perfect. Ooh, alrighty.
What's up, traveling man?
My Sky Mile points. That's what's up. Hey, I dig it, man. I dig it. It's it's like the first game of the season. You know, it really is. Like Vegas was the warm up. You know, the hard scrimmage.
That was spring training.
Yeah, and then you hit the tour and just like, all right, cool. Here are the Kings. Here's everything. You wonder if you did the right training during the off season. And I think I did, honestly. I think I did. I told Lee at the top of the year I'm implementing a new sleep program, so I'm knocked out by 11, up by 5, you know, getting all my vitamins and the H2Os and
the
all
vitamins.
that. Got to get the vitamins in, man.
Flintstones?
Always, man. Don't knock a good Flintstones vitamin. Don't knock a good Flintstone vitamin. Let me get a combo of a Betty and Dino crunched up together. Shoot it back with orange juice. That's my chaser.
Crush it up and like just slide it into the orange juice.
That's when you're an adult, but you still feed your inner child. No, man, I enjoy what I do, and I was just I have this plaque from my previous life that I look at every once in a while, and
I never got one of those.
Yeah,
I got fed up.
I know. So did I. Just hung around long enough. And I look at it and I'm just like, yeah, I'm so far removed from this world, man. I'm not going back. You're gonna have to put me 6 feet down before I go back to that. And I'm just very, very excited and happy. I met this really nice lady while I was out there. She's just like, and I say this because she was really cool. She let me finish the meal and everything, and then and sent a message in saying how great it was to meet and chat with me. And I'm just nice with everyone. That's just how I am. Like, I'm not going to be an ass dude. Told you I had my one encounter with someone I'd looked up to in this field, and I was just like, yeah, never letting anyone feel like that with meeting me. But she, sent me a message saying how...
Why you gotta hate Guy Fieri that way?
No, Guy, shout out.
I'm joking.
Guy's cooler than the other side of the pillow, man. And I've spoken to Guy, and he's a nice cat, man.
No. It was.
What's up, Guy? I know you don't listen, but you need to. We've talked about this.
That was 100% a joke by me.
Yes. Please don't screw up the small connection I have with the guy. I'm still trying to get a Hawaiian shirt.
No, like if anybody like talks like is bad, you just joke that it's Guy Fieri.
Yeah, but
even though the guy helps out so many more restaurants than anything.
I don't think, and it's not even restaurants.
Yeah,
being able to peek behind the curtain. I don't think people realize, and I'll go back to my story in a second. I don't think people realize how much Guy does.
Right. Yeah.
Like guy like puts his hands on stuff and like, yeah, don't say anything. Just, we're gonna make this pop. Like, he just keeps it moving because he doesn't want anything. Hardest working man in culinary. He is on TV. I don't think people get it. He's on TV year round. He has a show every season, year round. I don't think people get. The only other cat I can think of that does that is Rob Dyrdek, and that's because they film like
they just film
236 episodes in a 1 month period. But Guy's got a show all year, and that's hard to do.
Who is the old American Idol host?
I feel like if I know.
No, like
I haven't seen American Idol since like Stuttered.
Ryan Seacrest is like the other guy that's always working. Like, he's always doing something.
I believe that. I would genuinely believe that. No, but
all right, back to your story.
Yeah,
sorry.
No. She was really sweet. She sent a message saying how it was just nice to meet me, that she and her family and her son have been following me for a while, and that I've actually answered some of her son's questions online. And I guess I've met her son in person at different events. It's hard. Like, if I'd seen his face, maybe, but she was just messaging in, and how it was just really refreshing. Like, her son has told her how I am, but apparently I've always stopped and like answered his questions and never like brush him off or anything. I was like, oh, well, I appreciate that. I try to treat everyone with the same level of respect that I would like to get. But it was like, out of the whole trip, that was definitely a really good highlight, because it's you can see cats out and about, and then they completely scrub you. And whether you're having a bad day or not, one of the things I do take from our previous life is you never know if it's this person's first experience with the brand.
Yeah.
So, I'm not a brand, I'm a person, but I still want them to have a great experience meeting me. So that's always just in the forefront of my mind. And it was just a nice little message, man. You know, you get caught up in the rigmarole, the travel, the this, the back. It's a lot, and it's the season, so it was a nice definitely put a smile on my face. So I appreciate that, and the food was good too. So why not? Always support. I eat out at the little local, you know, hole in the wall spots. Like I don't want to go to a Longhorns while I'm out of town. I got that back home. We go to like a little hole in the wall that everyone's at. Like where are you going? Where are you going after? Oh, they've got good seafood. Let's go. But I digress. I should. You want to hit it with a good idea, bad idea?
I don't have one.
That is just a.
Oh, okay. A good idea. Have a barbecue festival.
I was going to say, I know where this is going.
Bad idea. Not pay attention to the weather and then not give vendors refunds.
But you move it to an alternative date because you're trying to hang on to all the funds in hand.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll just
that sounds personal.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not even that personal. I didn't even pay for the vendor fee. It's somebody else that's like on the hook, which sucks.
No, that's even worse.
Count that as a blessing and put a new clause in your contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of these are.
Well, that's why I don't usually sign up for stuff like this. Yeah. Like I avoid it like the plague.
Then what made you do this one?
It was just like I didn't have anything on the books. Bullshit wasn't going as well, so I figured I'd give it a shot. Like there's so many things where you're like, hey, let's just give it a shot. I was gonna do something new. Mm-hmm. I wasn't gonna do the normal menu, so it was just something that we were just kind of experimenting with to see how it went. Like there was supposed to be a lot of people usually do show up for these things, but you know, we'll see what happens. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it is. No, I get it.
But but when there's torrential downpour and flash flood warnings, and it's been like a week out, and then you decide to cancel it, we're 2 days out.
Yeah.
2 days out.
Well,
so we supplies already had to be ordered.
Yeah, that's a rough spot. That's a rough spot to be in.
I mean, thankfully I'm not cooking tomorrow. This is the first weekend since this is the first weekend I will not be.
Yeah, since the new year, really.
Yeah, since I was in Texas. So technically, I was working somewhere that weekend, even then. So, but this is the first weekend I will not be cooking, and
you're probably going to still end up cooking something, even in the downpour.
Yeah, no, I'll probably cook on Sunday when it's clear.
Okay, right on. No, well, that being said, welcome to This Week in Barbecue, the barbecue-focused podcast that introduces you to both the good, the bad, and everything in between in the world of barbecue. I'm your host, Rasheed Phillips, and joining me is a magnificently bearded wonder, Mr.
Brian Hull, and
the still judgmental voice you hear and face you do not see, Mr.
Lee Garman.
We are snappy, ladies and gentlemen. We're bringing this all together. Three Musketeers, where we all have a face for radio, and that's why we're here. So, that being said, you want to hit us with some news?
Let's start with the good.
Let's start with the good.
All right. So, Hogs for the Cause was this past weekend.
Yes.
They raised $3.6 million for pediatric cancer.
God.
Yeah.
Say it one more time.
$3.6 million. God,
I love when you talk generosity.
Yeah. So, shout out to all the people that we know that are out there, you know, Fox brother,
Fox, Swig and Swan. It's
there's a reason why I'm wearing this hat.
Oh, I thought you just liked Hoodoo.
Well, there's two. I like Hoodoo, but there's three reasons.
All right.
Or two reasons. They're on the Morton Anderson and Mullets barbecue team. That's what they're. So with home team, Fox Brothers, Swig and Swine, and there's probably other people I'm forgetting on that team. So they raised, I think, $355,000 on just their team. It's almost 10% of what was. Yeah. And then also Cody, they're from Connecticut. They're UConn fans. Yeah. So UConn just won the national championship. I figured I'd wear a Hoodoo Brown hat today.
There you go. That's pretty sick. And that's absolutely amazing. The giving power and just charity and just kind-heartedness that's in this community, I think, is drastically overlooked and never gets shown because all everyone thinks of is competition. And I think it's a saying no matter what chat group you're in, it's a community, not competition. And I wish this side was
It was a
shown
community competition for charity.
Yeah. But, you know, this side needs to be highlighted a lot more. That is an obscene and the years hasn't even concluded. Yeah. So more could be done for various charities in different ways. And that's just a lot. 3.6. Ooh. Yeah, that's a hefty number. That's a hell of a good news to open up.
It's a lot of zeros.
It is. That's a lot of hog.
It's a lot of hog.
I would love to know weight, the total weight
of hogs. They cooked that. Honestly, that should be. They should have an infographic at the end of the festival. How many dishes they tried, how many teams, how many hogs. Like
I feel like somewhere someone has that number.
Yeah.
Somewhere someone has an Excel spreadsheet with how many hogs were used to reach that, because that is a lot. Like, goodness gracious. Like I wouldn't mind us doing that with like links, like how many ribs did this take to raise this amount? Just that would be a good tally. Like for all the donations, how much food did we sell and cook off to raise this amount? Not a bad idea. I'll put that in the notes. So I'll jot that off there. Right, well, we still have, it's not horrible news.
I know. I just want to start off with the really good, and then now we can
really, really good.
We can get into the good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give a shout out to Mr. Tay Nelson. Tay is owner and chief pitmaster at Eatbobbys. I don't know if you remember Tay. We met him over at Holy Smokes.
Right.
He was over there hanging with it. There's a group photo of all of us, but I'd gotten to know Tay a couple years back on the first rounds. He's a just solid, really, really good guy. He takes care of his team in just the utmost way. And he was invited to talk at Tide, and I was confused. I was like, why is he talking about laundry soap? But it's not. It has nothing to do with laundry soap, despite the name.
No pods?
Not even a little bit. Stop eating those, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Tide Conference, which is Tigers for Inclusion, Diversity, and Ethics Conference. And he's going to be discussing culture and barbecue in the South. And he is an absolutely amazing company. He will be speaking with, and this person I'm about to mention, we spoke of him for Black History Month, but he is the only pitmaster that I can think of that deserves the moniker of the pitmaster, and that is Mr. Ed Mitchell. So he'll actually be accompanying Mr. Ed Mitchell with giving his talk, who's also speaking at the Tide Conference. And quick segue into the other bit of news, quick reminder, something we spoke of earlier this year, but want to remind you guys that Mr. Ed Mitchell is releasing his cookbook, and you can pre-order it on Amazon. It releases June 6th this year. I legitimately have 5 pre-ordered, and I'm going to order another 5 because I'm going to see if I can't grease the wheels and mail Mr. Ed Mitchell a nice bottle of brown and have him sign a book for me. And if I'm lucky, maybe he'll sign 2. I'll snag one for me, and we'll give the other one away. But we'll have the link in the show notes to where you can go ahead and gather these are great little gifts too. Like, I think it's just in time for like Father's Day. You can get it now and just rewrap it and give it for Christmas. But this man has likely forgotten more about barbecue than I can learn. And I've had the pleasure of speaking with people who've worked with him. And by work with them, I mean like running fires with him, running hogs, all that. And they're just like, the gems you pick up are just invaluable, things that you wouldn't even process a way of going about your cooks. And I'm really looking forward. I hope that I get the honor and pleasure of one day of meeting him. We've only ever corresponded online and digital platforms, but that's a hand I'm eagerly and cannot wait to shake. Mr. Ed Mitchell, cheers to you, sir.
Do you know what the date of that conference is?
Oh, goodness. I believe, let me pull it up here. I thought I had it noted in there, but I didn't. And that's just how it goes sometimes.
Oh, no. Like, you had to get the date of the book release on there, so.
Yeah, I thought I put it in there. Let me fumble around and just go to Eatbobbys Barbecue.
So you want me to go ahead and get into a new one while we look up that date?
Oh, no, I got it. So that's what it got me. It was tagged on the back end. So that is actually happening next week. Monday. Wow, so right around the corner, guys.
Yeah, so
right around the corner.
Yeah, Monday through Wednesday.
Yeah, so good deal.
All right, so you want to do an opening and a closing, I guess?
Go for it. Yeah.
All right, so
the closing isn't really
no, it's
like
not. It's not really a closing, but it's like, so Plates by the Pound announced that 5/27, May 27th is going to be their last service. He's moving back to Texas to go run his family farm, spend more time with his kids and family. He won't be out of barbecue entirely. I'm sure he'll do stuff down there.
Of course. It's
But
hard to
that's
leave.
yeah, but that's going to be the last service, and it's Aurora, Colorado, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have eight more weekends of plate by the pound. Plates by the pound.
That's oof, man.
And he was a preserve the pit.
He was
Recipient.
and he put that out there in his post, and I think that's just it takes a lot to walk away and make that decision, especially as he put in his post, the business wasn't failing.
No, the business was doing
He
good.
was selling out every weekend except one.
And then he would do caterings during the week.
Mm-hmm. So that just goes to show that the level of value he placed on just wanting to pass it along. And, you know, it's always good to leave at the top because you can always come back. And he's going to Texas. So I understand he's going to spend time with his family, but I wouldn't put it past him. Maybe a year, 2, 3 down the line, that itch just comes on back.
Oh, I'm sure he'll be showing up at festivals and doing random one-offs anyway. But like, you know, he wants to run the family farm. So I think that's super commendable.
Yeah.
And like, here's the thing is if you get a restaurant closure announcement and it's 2 months in advance, there's a reason behind there's a good reason behind it. If you get a restaurant closure announcement and they closed 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. And it's just,
So
like, hey, we're closing today, which sadly we saw a lot of during COVID.
well, I mean, that just happened with in Atlanta with Empire State South. They announced it like 3 weeks after they had closed doors.
Yeah.
So
and it's like, wait, you got to, and it's like permanently closed. Like, what happened?
yeah.
It's
So on the other side of it, Fort Grove Barbecue has found a new brick and mortar in Anderson, South Carolina.
Oh,
So they haven't announced an opening date, but when they open, they'll be Thursday through Saturday.
okay.
So that's right up the road.
And not new, but just speaking on this, because I saw he had some dope stickers that I want to get one. Elliot Moss is still doing Louis Burgers and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So I just saw that. You know, I want to.
Elliot,
I want a sticker.
He's still working on opening Regina's West Side too.
Yeah. So there's a lot of fun stuff opening. One that I'm chomping at the bit for when there's going to be a date is B, when B opens up again. I know I'd mentioned it prior to you joining us last year. He had acquired the land. He was going through permitting and all that. But I'm very much looking forward to when he's you know, back in a permanent fixture, rolling smoke. But right now he is touring. He's all over. He was just in Texas with Lerma and the crew and the cats from Truth. They were Ernesto, and they were doing their distillery, Fierce over at Fierce Distillery. I believe he did the 2023 Masters this year in Savannah. He's moving and grooving.
Wait, I mean, no, that like Masters is this week.
He's doing this 20.
So that's Augusta.
Yeah, Augusta.
Yeah.
I don't follow golf.
The Masters, people will get on to you for not knowing where the Masters is.
Well,
like even Lee's nodding his head.
they can nod their head, but they better be careful yelling at me talking about Masters in the South at my size. You might catch a quick backhand.
This is true.
Choose your words, people. Choose your words. Don't let the smooth taste fool you.
Augusta also doesn't have the nicest history.
Yeah. So wherever you're doing it in the
Lee,
South Dakota,
Lee does kind of aside, kind of nod.
yeah, and you're yelling at, well, you better get your Masters right, sir. You better take that bass out your voice, but watch yourself now.
You were just setting me up for failure. That's what it was.
I got to lean into it whenever I can, man. All right. So what do we got? I guess on my end, let's talk. I'm ask you a personal question.
Yeah.
Does size matter?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what everyone says. But in this particular case, we're talking about rigs. And I asked that because the cool cats over at Mill Scale have dropped out 3 of their yakitori grills. I call them small, medium, larges. But they've...
Do they have a schmedium?
A schmedium is a real tight schmedium that you grease up with tallow to get in. Got 3 new rigs. There's an 8 to 10 week lead time, which actually is not bad for anything made.
Well, what's the crazy one? There's a crazy thing to that 8 to 10 week lead time that you're about to get to.
Yeah, lead time for the U.S. and the EU.
or Europe, like an 8 to 10 week lead time for an American pit made like shipped to Europe.
Yeah.
I'm sure the shipping probably takes a little.
It probably
longer.
tax a little, but that's not not
not
bad.
bad.
You can still catch one of those bad boys before the season's over.
Well,
If you
it's
get
it's
in
an
early.
8 to 10 week lead time now.
Now, so if you're thinking about it, if you thought about it, if you're wanting a great rig in the backyard, you're looking for something a little different, if you have the space, this is it. Now, before we get into the questions and the other news, I want to start a little discussion. Do you think barbecue warriors, backyard warriors, enthusiasts will start shifting away from your store-bought rigs and start going to your builders like your M&Ms, your mill scales, your Mobergs? Like, well, we'll pull Mobergers and doing stuff like this.
No, Moberg has a small pit though.
They've got small, but like he's not doing like open fire rig setups and tables and stuff like Mill and M&M. Like, do you think
I think
that
that's already
eventually?
I think it's already happened.
You think so?
Yeah, like I mean, there's still always going to be something for pellets and like the master builds and stuff. But
Yeah.
like, there's like I think that next level enthusiast who's like, okay, I've been working on a pellet. I want to take the next step. They're more than willing to like okay, they could have a pellet and then they could have this yakitori grill sitting right next to it. Like I think like the Santa Maria style grills and yakitori grills, they make a really good backyard centerpiece, and they allow you to do a different style of cooking than you can do just like with straight smoking. So I think that transition's already started to happen.
Nice. Yeah, I feel that I've seen that happen more because even still, I think the guys over at Millscale had just posted about a new batch of their backyard models were just rolling out. And I love seeing that type of growth. And it's not knocking any of your Home Depots and locations like that where you get your different ones, but those are only good for a certain amount of time, honestly. They really are. A couple of seasons, that's if you're covering it every time, you're doing everything in perfect, which most people aren't. But these are like the big boys, you're really taking it serious, and you've got a lot more versatility.
I saw a design for a backyard pit. I'm not going to say from who, but
Don't play Switzerland.
no, I'm not playing. And it's not Switzerland. It's just they haven't announced it yet. So
Okay.
it's for them to.
Oh,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they shared it with you.
Yeah, they shared it with me.
Got it.
Like it was just in like the design phase.
Okay.
If they pull it off, it's really damn cool.
Lee, are you making a backyard grill and you didn't tell me?
It's actually Corey.
No, old head McMahon over there. I would not be surprised, actually. I would not be surprised.
Something's got to be going on in the big brain.
Gotta be. All that room in real estate, Lord knows, something's got to come out.
No, like if it works the way it's envisioned to work, I think it will change backyard offset cooking.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I tell everybody, like, the people who run up to me in public the most are the wives of the husbands. Like, my husband's buying all this meat because he's buying it because he knows how much you love delicious food. And he wants to spend time cooking for you, so you're welcome. He's like, yeah, but we're taking up space. I said, ma'am, he could have 15 rigs. It's still not as much as a classic car.
Very true.
It's a good habit.
I don't know, man. Like once you get into some of the higher price rigs, it's as much as a classic car.
I haven't. At those prices, you're doing restaurant stuff. When you're getting like the $30,000 rigs,
No, there's some enthusiasts who have like the big rigs.
I would love to know how enthusiastic those enthusiasts are, because just parking all of mine takes up real
We should
estate.
start doing cribs.
I would love to do
Rigs.
so.
Rigs, yeah.
So we had that. I'll have to talk about it off air. But remember that company I told you that wanted to own everything but didn't want me to own anything? That was part of one of the things we were going to do. We were going to go to different athletes and sort of do like it was Cribs meets Pit My Ride.
Okay.
But for food and kind of It's different, but that wouldn't be half bad. Maybe we just do that because I used to do Smoker Shout Out Sundays. That's how I met a lot of the cats, because I just dug their business. So I met a lot of builders actually, because I was just like, man, y'all are really solid, and some were not solid.
There's a ton of builders out there now. Like there's so many pit builders out there right now.
for every pit builder, there's like 3 new guys getting into it too. So, yeah. But let's continue on the stories. You had some other good stuff here.
Brisket King NYC is coming up 4/26. So that's a Wednesday. There's a
yeah,
Wednesday, Thursday.
It's in the middle of the week. It's
in the middle of the week. So that's going to be at Pig Beach. They still haven't announced the participating chefs and barbecue people yet. So keep a lookout for that.
I know through the smoke trail, some that have been tapped to be there, but they are also wondering what we're wondering, like who else is going to be there. They're on that line, like you invite a friend over to go to a party, like, well, who all going to be there? Let me know before who all going to be there before I show up and commit. So that's that position that they're in. Other news on the top end. The Hill Country Hoedown is happening in East Texas, the 15th and 16th. Millscale and the crew will be in attendance. There's going to be 60 plus different vendors, barbecuers, different corporate and cocktail people alike. So a nice little thing, season's rolling. So I feel like every week, weekend or midweek, as we just spoke about with Pig Beach, something's going to be happening somewhere.
Yeah.
So get a ticket.
We need to almost make a calendar for people.
Yeah, that would be, hey, if you're listening and you have something going on, let us know. We want to talk about it. We want people to know about it so that they can come to your thing and support.
Aggregate a calendar.
Yeah.
Like, hey, load your stuff here. And I mean, we do crawl. I've got bot alerts and stuff for certain key phrases and stuff. That's how we locate a lot of our news. And also being in it ourselves, I akin it to like if the news anchor was also a part-time cop, they would probably have a lot better lead on what's happening. We're in there. We're in the trenches ourselves, so we know what's going on. Some of it we can talk about. A lot of it we can't because contracts, and that's just how that world goes. But there'll be some other fun stuff coming soon. And I'll do my last bit of news here. Not a real shameless promotion because it's for a great cause. So the Celebrity Pitmaster Showcase is taking place in Cleveland, Ohio. It is put on together with the hard work of Mr. Darren W. Carter of Carter's Barbecue. Also, Mr. Carter runs the Unknown's Black Pitmaster. He has gathered great pitmasters such as Pos, Mr. Kevin Bloodsoe, Miss Erica Blue Smoke Blair, and I somehow tripped and landed on that list. And we are doing a barbecue showcase for charity. We are raising as many funds as we can for the local orphanage. If you guys have been listening at all over the last year, you guys have heard me mention how I've donated to this orphanage. I've donated to his charity. We've donated countless book bags and gifts and toys to these well-deserving children who didn't ask for the circumstances that they're in. And right now, I've decided to sort of up the ante on my part. So I'm actually going to be giving away a brand new Masterbuilt Gravity Series 1050 smoker, kitted out with rubs, coals, all the stuff you need to get going. And to enter, all you have to do is purchase 2 or more tickets. Every 2 tickets that gets purchased gets you an entry into winning this free smoker. So if you are already going to attend, if you're already going to have a group of people coming with you, why not go ahead and pull the trigger now, because this entry for this particular contest ends by May 14th. So, well, pardon me, this contest is 2 weeks, but the ticket sales end May 14th. So
why is the ticket sales ending May 14th?
Because I don't know. It's not my gig. I'm just there to.
Okay. I didn't know if there was.
I think that's the cutoff that has to happen for to get all the insurances and everything set up and all that.
So they know how many people are going to be
exactly.
Okay.
Because you've got to go through permitting, marshals. It's a whole ordeal. But short end of it, if you are planning on going, you are on the fence, and you want a chance at winning a free rig, why not? Best of both worlds.
Do you have those details posted anywhere yet?
It is on the Mr. Carter's Barbecue page. It is on the Unknown's Black Pitmaster page. It is on the This Week in Barbecue stories. We'll post it again in the feed. It's all over the place. So, and we will definitely make sure we have it in the show notes as well. Yeah, I think that's it on my end for news. I think that's it on your end too, yeah?
Yeah.
Right on. Want to hit them with some of these newly dropped in questions?
Sure thing.
You want to start with the first one, or whatever? Or since we listened to Trill Hill earlier?
Yeah, let's do charcoal versus propane specifically for barbecue chicken. Which do you prefer and why? That's Kathy, period Christie 35.
Right on. I would have to say I prefer charcoal for use for 99.9% of my cooking. If those are the two options that I have,
Yeah.
it's going to be charcoal because it's just something about the taste that you get from the protein when the fat hits that coal and the ash. Sorry, I'm just getting a little emotional about it. And the ash flares up and it's just dripping and you get that char and the aroma. You're just like, oh, I want more of this. Something about charcoal, man.
Yeah, no, charcoal 100% of the time. Propane's great for Blackstones.
Yeah, it's great for Blackstones and
Yeah.
apparently Flat Rocks from Traeger. Indoors, restaurants and all that jazz. I get it. And in certain circumstances, I understand where having propane is just going to be better, high altitudes, stuff like that, colder conditions.
Yeah.
100%. Never going to knock it. But if I have to choose, I'm always going to roll with charcoal. And there's a lot of hacks. And I think there's a question that we'll be able to run that into or tie back into later.
Actually, let's just go ahead and jump to that one.
Okay.
Let's see if I'm thinking of the right one.
Yeah.
Can you slow smoke in a Weber, the Morts?
So that was one of them. And maybe I haven't put that in there. Maybe I imagined that question. But yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you can.
There's something called the snake method.
Or the 2-zone method.
Yeah.
There's so many methods and ways to smoke in a Weber. I just think everyone's so used to just dumping a half bag of charcoal and dousing it in lighter fluid and catching it on that they're like, yeah, well, it doesn't work. It's like, no, smoking in a Weber is all about preparation.
Yeah.
And your setup.
Yeah, honestly, I know a lot of people that started with smoking out Webers and then moved up to something else.
I believe my man, 100 Grand, Ash, I believe he's told me before, he started before smoking on a Weber. Like that used to be one of his immediate go-tos was a Weber kettle. The classic kettle. Now they've got all different types of variations and what have yous, but yeah, you can absolutely smoke on a Weber. Go for it. So I guess my go, yeah?
Yep.
This is from Joseph Hamilton Young. Thanks for submitting, Joseph. Easter Sunday, tight budget, really basic outdoor cooking setup. What kind of meat should I be cooking? What you got for him?
I mean, here's the thing: is you can do a ham brine on almost anything. It's probably too late to do it now, but you could ham brine a pork loin and make like a hammy pork loin for Easter, and that would be a pretty cheap cut.
Yeah, you could do that. If you're pressed for time and a tight budget, you can get a pre-smoked ham.
Yeah.
And dress it up with a bourbon glaze, and run that over.
Yeah.
You can do a fair amount with that. We've done a couple of things, pork and bourbon before. With some double cut chops. I think that's out there floating the ether somewhere. But if I'm in like a pressed time right now and I can't score a ham, but my top thing for me personally I would go get a ham, do a nice bourbon glaze. If I can't get that, then I'm going to local Wawa's, Piggly Wiggly, wherever, and I'm going to get a standing rib roast. And I'm going to, try to get a little bit of a age if I can, or a little drying going on.
Well, he said tight budget. Like a rib roast is going to be a little.
Well, right now they're on sale for like $5.99.
Okay, all right.
So if that, and that's what I don't know the budget. So
yeah.
If you can get that,
I mean, how much are those like the crowns of pork?
Ooh, I feel like that's possible.
Yeah.
Get a crown. You can ask them to French it for him.
Yeah.
And when we say French it, we just real fancy way of this, really cleaning up the bones, splitting it out. And when we say crown, it literally looks like a crown when it's wrapped up and bound together. So That's a great alternative option too. I
Yeah.
like that one. I like that one.
I mean, and look, man, like, there's nothing wrong with a really good like spatchcocked or roast chicken.
No.
Like, dude, those things.
If you want to get freaky, go ahead and hit it froggy style. Get down. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a good bird.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with a good bird. I forgot who posted it, but it hit me that chicken is underappreciated.
It really is.
Like a properly whole roasted bird years ago, like after I'd gotten PBC rolling and we were getting booked up and things really started to take off where it was just on autopilot, I started developing the concept for another company. And I actually talked about it with some of the cats at Pontoon. I was like, hey guys, I think I'm going to do something aside from barbecue. And I wanted to just start a strictly roasted chicken business. And I was just going to offer you 3 birds in 3 different ways. I was going to get you jerk, Argentinian, and classic. And it was only going to be whole birds. That was the whole pitch. I wanted a little bit tip of homage to my grandfather and to the street vendors that I grew up seeing in Jamaica that were just always hustling and grinding, cooking out of the barrel, just whole birds, serving it up in sections. I wanted to do that concept, and seeing the video post this week made me think of it. I was like, man, a quality done bird is so underrated.
Especially over like direct heat charcoal.
Yeah.
Like it's so good.
And those of you who've been listening, following my stories, you know how much I love my herb garden, know how much I relied on my rosemary bush. I'm sad to say I was not able to save my rosemary from the constant week of cold snaps.
I was going to say mine died too.
Yeah, the cold snaps took out my rosemary, but I say that because I was tilling the soil because I'm going to plant a new one, and I saved the roots and I saved the stems, and I cracked them, and it's so fragrant. I'm going to do pour one out for the homies. I'm going to do a cook with my I'm going to do a cook with the stems and the what's left because the shrubbery is just so fragrant. But I might do it with a whole bird, but I would love to. Maybe that's the next pop-up. Like, I want to try that concept. I'm doing nothing but birds. Whole birds. All you getting is birds. Birds and bread, because
Get
that's
one
what
of those, get a standard, like one of those yakitori setups from Mill Scale and do it right off of there.
Yeah, that's why I had Phoebe. That's why I designed Phoebe that way. I should have got Phoebe on a trailer, but guess that just means I got to get another grill.
Whoops.
Whoopsies.
Yeah.
Still cheaper than a classic car. But I want to do that concept of open fire roasted birds because I promise you, when it's done right, man, you don't need anything else. Get some King's Hawaiian with that bird, serve it up. You can get a quarter, half, or whole. Slice them and dice them. How you want to get them?
Yeah, just serve it with some rice and maybe.
I'm not even going that far. This is what I grew up on. The Jamaican cats, you're off the street.
Yeah.
You're literally going to get you're either going to get a styrofoam full box, or more than likely you get a little penny plate, sheet of foil, wrapped your half bird or quarter or whole is wrapped, chopped up. They hit you with a little sauce, 3 slices of hard bread, keep it pushing, and it's the best meals, like just childhood reminiscent. So I might mess around and do that.
Hey, you mentioned using the was it the roots of the rosemary in a recipe?
I saved the roots because I'm going to try something with those, but I have the bush, the whole stem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the stems. Like if you're cooking with herbs, use the leaves. Use so I just did smoked chicken salad this past week.
Right on.
Did some celery. They had celery leaves on I chopped up the celery leaves and mixed that in the chicken salad.
Mm-hmm.
Like use cilantro stems are some of the most flavorful bits of cilantro. Use everything.
Everyone always asks me, why does your chimichurri always taste better than mine? One, I don't blend it. I do the painstaking process. You can't get my chimichurri in a food processor.
Right.
It's no possible way. I don't care what processor it is. It's not going to happen. I do it by hand, and I always say it on the lives. Guys, save the stems. Stop throwing the stems away. Just mince it very, very finely so it's a nice mouthfeel. But save the stems. That's where all the flavor is.
Yeah.
But I digress. You want to hit Mary's question? That's a good one.
Yeah. So, little Nikki Marie asks, how can you tell the difference between clean and dirty smoke?
I'll let you lead the way.
So the easiest way is if you're doing a super clean smoke, it will look like blue vapor. Like it will have a bluish hue. You almost don't see it. It will be transparent, and you'll kind of just see like a heat wavering.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me is like, because you can run a dirtier smoke, but there's a difference between, you got to like, the thing that is, you got to smell it.
Yes.
If it smells acrid, if it smells bitter, you're running a dirty fire.
Yeah.
If it smells like, different woods have different notes that you can smell when you're burning cleanly. Like I've had like what someone would probably call a dirty fire, but when you smell the oak and you smell the vanilla notes and you smell all these like little intricacies of like what you're using, you know you're burning a clean fire, because you're not going to get those notes if you're burning a dirty fire.
Yeah. I agree. And I think when you're clean and dirty, you were right. You lead with your nose.
Yeah.
Because you'll always smell when something goes bad before you see it.
Yeah.
You always. We talk about that particular person that the moment we stepped on the grounds, we could tell that the food wasn't going to be good because we could smell all just the acrid and bitterness and just like the buildup of soot. And that's what leads to me. And the visual indicator, I always look at it as, I know my rig is running well, because if you walk by it, you can't tell it's on or not.
Yeah.
You can smell it, but you're looking at it and you're like, it's just, yeah.
Look, if your smoke's coming out white, you're burning a dirty fire.
If your smoke is coming out gray or black, cut everything off. Something is going very, very bad. And when we say cut it off, close off all aspects to where air can get in.
Yeah.
And this is a little point of controversy. Do you pop the top and take the proteins off, or do you leave them in?
I mean, like,
depending how, if I'm talking black smoke looking like you're running a train down there. Like,
well, that's the thing, is like, it depends on your cooker. So like, so say for some reason I run my stuff pretty shut down. So sometimes I'll have my door pretty on the edge of where if a strong wind blows, it will close it and I'll come out and like, I can, oh crap. Like I'll know by the temperature or whatever, door closed. But I have so much airflow going through from the stack size and everything.
As you mentioned, violent airflow.
So that, even if it's a little bit of a dirty smoke, it's not lingering on there long. I can leave everything on, just open it up, open the door, open up the firebox door, open up the cook chamber door, maybe crack open the exhaust, and everything will get back running fine. Yeah. If you're on a smaller rig, you probably have to take your proteins off.
Definitely. Yeah. And perfect example, for our New Year's cabin trip, the grill we were on, I didn't check it because they said it was fully set up, and I should have checked it because it wasn't mine. It was propane. They didn't have their grease drain trap connected, so the grease was building. We were doing, tri-tips? Yeah. I was cooking up some tri-tips. The grease built. It caught fire, and I was like, oh, all right. And they're like, you're not free? I was like, no, just close it off. I decided to pull the meat because it was such a small enclosed area. Yeah. But it did the sear, and they're like, is it over? It's like, no, it's actually perfectly done. And we sliced it, and it was ash pink. But I just didn't want, as the fire was going out, that dirty grease, acrid taste to sit on to be the final coat, because they were about finished. Yeah. So I didn't want that to be the last flavor crusting it.
There is a difference between a grease fire and like a dirty fire. If you have a grease fire, you need to pull all your shit off.
I was out on the deck just on my iPad. Yeah. And I look over and I was like, all right, sometimes we get flames, but this just went up. Yeah. So I just like got up and knocked on the window. I was like, hey, I'm not going to do it, but I think something needs to be done.
Yeah. So I walked, I was like, oh, all right, cool. Pop the top, take this off. And that's why I tried. The biggest thing, if you see fire, don't freak out. Yeah. You're fine. It is okay. Unless you are engulfed in fire, relax. It's cool. Don't go throwing water on it. Don't go throwing baking soda and flour and all this stuff. No. Just take the stuff off, turn off the vent pipe, close air. That's it. Fire is very complicated, but fire is very simple. it needs air.
You can't breathe.
Yeah, you take the air away, it's gone. It's that simple. But you know, that's a conversation for a whole other episode. All right, what do you got?
All right, you want to get to the cheeky questions?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Do you want to read the two at the end?
No, go for it.
Okay, what are your top 5 Texas barbecue joints? These are both from the same person.
These have to be submitted on your end because I don't remember getting these.
No, they're definitely submitted on my end.
Okay. What are my top 5 barbecue joints? Not in any particular order. 2M, Interstellar, 2M Interstellar. Golly, frick.
So the way I looked at it is, they have to be open at least one day a week. It doesn't matter if they're a trailer or a full restaurant. They have to be open at least one day a week, and you have to have eaten there for me to put them on my top 5.
Sure,
yeah, because I have a list of top 5, and I have a list of top 5 that I really want to go to.
Yeah, Gosh, I can't remember his name, and it's killing me. He does the fresh tortillas and the brisket tacos.
Oh, Valentina's.
Valentina's, yes, because I love it's all mesquite. So that I'll put up there one or two.
Dude, that flour tortilla is still like the real deal Holyfield is one of the best items in all of barbecue.
It's something, I swear it's the fat that he uses in those tortillas that make it. You get those little pockets like yes.
Yeah.
Someone out there loves.
And the homemade refried beans.
Yes. So Valentina's, 2M, Interstellar. Gotta put Snows just because of, gotta put
We're going to have some overlap on this list, by the way.
We're going to have Snows. Final finisher, who am I going to put on there that I really enjoy their food? I can't say. I will do Pecan Lodge.
You'll do Pecan Lodge?
I'm a finish it out with Pecan Lodge. Okay. I just So that's my 5.
So for me, that I've actually had trays from.
Yeah.
So we'll just go with this. We'll go with what we both agree on.
And no shade to Goldie's, I just haven't been there.
Yeah, well, I mean Goldie's is top of my list.
Yeah.
But 2M, Interstellar, Snows, and Truth of places I've been to.
Yeah.
Barely getting off the list is definitely probably City Market and Lowling. That rib and sausage at City Market Lowling probably changed my perspective on barbecue just as much as anything. But that's like a super old school joint.
All right. Speaking of that, I'll ask you a question. What barbecue food item from whom or what place made you realize, I've got to step my game up?
I mean, I can just go to the first plate of barbecue I had from Pinkerton's. I was like, I'm not even anywhere close to good enough. It wasn't even like this. Okay, this is 4 years ago at this point. Okay. My first trip. The first place I stopped at, I go, I'm not there yet. It didn't matter. Because the first time we did Pinkerton's, Tejas, Truth, Lowling City Market, Smitty's, 2M, Snows, and Louis Miller. So, I did my top 5. And there are better briskets at some places, there are better ribs at some places, but just even that first tray at Pinkerton's is I'm not there yet. Yeah. I'm not close. It's this is different. I mean, it's the same time, the same way, the first time I had Rodney Scott's whole hog, it was this is different.
Rodney's is, yeah. I was just talking to Rodney. I was like, Rodney, where are you? He's like, oh man, I'm out here at the beach about to do the showcase. I'm like, Rodney, I just like living vicariously through you, brother. I'm just trying to get there one day, And he gave me some, it's Rodney. But I would say unequivocally the bite that changed me, and I've sung his praises numerous times. Main man, 100 grand, the king of swine, Mr. Man of the people, the people's pitmaster, really, Mr. Brian Furman. When I had that rib, when he sliced off that rib, without even his peach mustard. When I had that rib, I was like, I don't know what you put in here. It's like it's like, is that a hint of crack? Is that crack that I'm tasting? Is there something in here? There's something in here that's just otherworldly. I'm like, yeah, I just got to do more. Like, he's got this down.
Well, okay, I could go back a little further, because I'm thinking of my Texas trip.
Yeah.
But like Lewis Barbecue in Charleston, which is basically just Texas. Like, again, that was a place that was like, okay, yeah, well, this hits different.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the best compliments from one chef, one pitmaster to another, is when you're like, wow. The best compliment for me is when someone you respect takes that second bite.
Yeah.
That's when you know. When they take that second bite,
before saying anything.
Yeah. That's it.
Since we talked about the places we've actually eaten, what are your top 5 Texas barbecue joints that you want to get to? And I bet we have overlap on this too.
That I want to get to. Let me let that marinate. I want us to get through a little more of this question, but I'm going to let that marinate.
Okay.
They got, real quick, Bees White 1. We answered that last episode. So listen to that. Hey, cooked a 6-pound butt, 7 hours, 225, rested an hour, bone to pull out, wasn't tender. Why? We answered that last episode.
Yeah, he said he cooked it at 2 or 3, and I just think it he either let it cool down too much.
Yeah.
Or
or there was a weird pause in the cook, and it's...
Or it's like he just probed like the exterior and it was 203, but inside it's probably still like 180, 170. You didn't probe it deep enough.
Yeah. I will ask...
Because like that exterior is going to cook faster, especially than if you have a bone.
Yeah.
So you need to probe near, not touching the bone, but near the bone to see when that meat's done.
Yeah. This is a good one. Coach PQC. New to smoking, own one grill. Can I baby step on my gas grills first or jump right into Traeger?
Yeah.
I don't understand the question.
No. Okay, can you do... This is how I got started.
Yeah.
Can you kind of jerry-rig your gas grill to smoke?
Yeah,
and you absolutely
smoke tubes.
Well, no, not even smoke tubes. Like, the way I did it was I laid aluminum foil down at the bottom. You have that top rack, and then I would use a 1 heat zone, leave the other side completely off. I would pile wood chips, soaked wood chips on that aluminum foil on the gas grill, and then kind of set my protein kind of to the right side so that I would get kind of like a makeshift convective air, And I've pulled off at the time I thought it was decent, smoked. I was excited that I got a smoke ring.
Smoked with an asterisk.
Yeah.
No.
So you can totally do that. You don't here's the thing is you got to baby it more. You got to be on top of it.
Oh, a lot more. And I don't know if baby stepping it into, or I don't think I would jump right into a Traeger as a way of smoking it. I would, as we mentioned earlier, I'd probably save yourself an obscene amount of money and just go get a 32 kettle.
Yeah.
And run it that way and learn your fire management because, and once again, I know you guys, he's not going to Traeger, not doing it. He said he wants to learn how to, he says he wants to learn how to smoke. A Traeger won't teach you how to smoke because you'll just turn a knob.
He worded, you want to get the joke?
Yeah.
He worded the question wrong. Do I want to learn on a gas grill or do I want to baby step it with a Traeger?
Yeah, that's really what it is. But because of what he's wanting to do, a Traeger isn't going to teach him how to smoke.
No,
because he'll just turn a dial, drop meat.
No, I think the thing is can I do this without spending a lot of money? And I think what people think is they see the price tag with the Traeger, they think, oh, okay, that's the next step up.
Do you know how many brands you have to pass to get to a Traeger to think it's affordable? You've got Masterbuilt, the Gravity Series, cheaper than any Traegers.
No,
you've got Oklahoma Joes that are electric, cheaper. You've got Pit Bosses. You've got Next Gen. You've got Z Gen. You have Next Grill. Right. There's a lot of.
But so those really low end pellet cookers, I wouldn't trust them.
I don't know. I couldn't tell them apart, honestly.
Well, I've had a friend. I've been over at a friend's and used it, and it was not a great experience.
No.
So.
Well, yeah, my answer to that is if you're going to baby step it into a 32 kettle.
Yeah.
Save yourself a ton of money and learn fire management and some of those techniques we talked about.
Could I jump back to the dirty clean smoke real quick?
Yeah.
There's a question I forgot to ask. What would you guys say is the most common reason for dirty smoke?
So there's not enough airflow. Not how much the vent is open or whatever, but the way they actually built the fire. They bundled everything too close together, so there's not like an air gap where air can flow to. I think that's part of it, and then also, not seasoned wood, using really green wood. And now, if you're using really green wood, you have to have a lot more airflow to get a cleaner fire out of that. But yeah, the biggest thing is overloading, like with a Kamado. Would you say overloading like the charcoal and just like piling everything in?
Yeah, because you need, especially with those type of cookers, you need a lot less fuel than you think you do.
Yeah.
Because they're designed to hold that heat and to feed off of such a small draw. Because if you look at the build of a Kamado, and remember, Kamado isn't a brand, it's a style of cooker, it's a style of cooking rig. There isn't that much wiggle room as far as airflow management. It's probably a 3 to 4 inch damper at the bottom, and you have an 1.5 to 2 inch damper at the top. That's all the airflow management control you have.
Yeah.
But those things will hold like crazy.
The other thing is I would say is not building a big enough coal bed.
Yeah.
Like if you have like a coal bed that's like really weak, or you're just trying to throw again, that's like where you're piling too much stuff on too soon. You need a really good coal bed so that when you throw a log on, it's burning efficiently very quickly. Because if it doesn't burn efficiently, that's when you're getting that dirty smoke.
There you go. That was a good one. What is your favorite seasoning to put on briskets?
Hold on. You want to say it with me? 3, 2, 1. Salt.
Yes. Yes. Aside from Phillips Barbecue American Prime Rib, shameless plug. Yes, I think salt is the most underutilized seasoning everywhere.
You know why Lowry's works for a lot of people, and people are so blown away with Lowry's?
Because they changed the color of salt and just put a different name on the top.
No, it's because they were undersalting their briskets in the first place. Yeah. Like Lowry's is great. Like if you want so use your normal rub with the amount of salt that you use, but I think people were like the 50-50 salt and pepper or the 60-40 salt and pepper.
Stop watching those PBS videos.
I was also bad about it. Like someone like came up to me a couple years ago, like, "Hey, your brisket isn't salted." It's like, dude, I felt like I put a lot of salt on it, and then I had it. It's like, no. It's like, okay, there's some salt here, but like on the edge, it's not as salty, and so I changed the way I did my brisket. So I laid that base coat of salt on there before I hit it with anything else.
There it is. So I'll have people sometimes they'll come when I'm doing a live that I'll salt the steaks and then I'll hit it with the American Prime. I'm like, yeah, but your seasoning has salt. It's like, yeah, but it's not the definitive salt for everything. And when you're doing these monstrous cuts of meat for so long, and you have to remember, the meat is sweating as it's cooking. It's dripping off. You're also spritzing it. That's coming off. A lot of salt is being removed, but that's not going to be there at the start. I've got a pastrami that I got to desalinate, and I'm going to watch how I do that because I don't want to remove all of it out there because I'm going to add back a little. Like when you're doing steaks, when you're doing brisket, salt it first so you can see it and make sure you have it evenly coated, evenly distributed. Don't just have one big pocket of salt sitting on one spot. And if you're wondering why, if you put a blob of salt on one spot, leave it there and come back, you'll see the salt burn. And you'll feel the difference in the texture. So start high, sprinkle high, salt bay it. Don't do that. But you'll get a nice even distribution and then add your seasoning.
So there's, find those like spice shakers from Amazon or whatever.
Yeah.
Get one of those ones with like the big holes. Okay, there's no way else to say it.
No.
Don't get the tiny hole
You heard it here first. Brian wants you to go get yourself some big holes.
Get the wide mouth, the wide.
That's worse.
Please loop this part.
I'm the one that has to loop it.
I need wide mouths and big holes. What? This podcast went downhill so it is.
I've been trying so hard not to cuss, and you still have to throw an explicit tag on there.
I didn't do what you did. You're talking about wide mouths, big holes, just. And you know what it is? You did say size matters, so bravo to you, sir.
What do you, sir? I'm gonna take another sip of water because we don't have any liquor.
Secret Pint Barbecue, filling wide mouths and big holes for 2 years in a row.
And we're out.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's let that. You got
no. You didn't do your. Let's loop back around.
We can roll it over. We got rollover. We're going to bring it to the early 2000s where everyone got rollover minutes.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, let's look. You know what I'm saying? The shakers with. There's no way I can word it without it being.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of shakers with those type of features.
With the bigger openings, like it's the same thing.
I don't know if you're talking barbecue or describing a night at Magic City. Whichever way, we stand by you.
Lemon pepper wet. It's the only way to go.
It's the only way to go.
All right. Well, anyway, get a shaker where when you season your brisket, the seasoning actually fucking comes out. Sorry, there we go. There we go.
That was explicit.
Yeah, that was explicit.
It wasn't me this time.
Yeah, it wasn't. Well, it's usually me. So, if you're using a shaker where the seasoning isn't coming out at a good rate, you're gonna under season your stuff. But if you need to season high, like you said, so that it's a wide distribution.
Right.
But get a shaker where your seasoning actually comes out at a decent pace.
I think so. But yes,
I'm walking around so many different terms.
It's okay.
And my vernacular on this one is just wrong.
Nah, it's right. It's right in all the best ways.
So you want to loop back around to what top 5 Texas joints that you want to hit?
I do want to try Goldie's. I want to try their stuff. I want to shout out and hang out with everybody. I only want to go to this place because it's what a lot of the old heads always told me about Cadillac. I've never been to Cadillacs.
I need
you
to
told me about Cadillac.
I went to Cadillacs and got
Cadillac.
I need to go back to.
I remember Capilla sent that. Yeah.
I need to have Cadillac not to go. I've only had Cadillac to go.
Okay. Yeah. I want to go to Cadillacs. I want to go to Goldie's. Want to go to Black's.
Which one?
Both, actually.
Terry and Black's?
Yeah. A family divided shall not stand. Want to go to Black's and Mueller's. Want to go to
Louis Mueller?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't actually have that much overlap then.
No, yours is what?
Burnt Bean.
Yeah.
Distant relatives.
I haven't been to his, but I've had his food, so I don't know if that counts.
No. I think going to the restaurant actually.
Okay. Yeah. I always personally think we cook better for each other in our environment than at the restaurant sometimes. But yeah.
Yeah, Burnt Bean. What was Distant Relatives?
Yeah, I want to go out to those guys.
Evie Mays. Reese Brothers.
Okay.
They're down in San Antonio, and. Am I at 4?
Yeah, 4.
There's got someone I'm probably thinking probably Blood Brothers or Curry Brothers.
I'd like to go to Coy's.
The reason I didn't include Coy's, he's not fully open. He doesn't operate at least one day a week, so. I mean, I know of 2 that are opening. If we're talking about places that aren't opening, haven't opened yet. Oh, Bar ABQ. That's the other one I was thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely want to go out see Cooper at Bar ABQ, but the ones that haven't opened yet, Coy, Barb's BQ, not to be confused with Bar ABQ, but Bar's BQ and Redbird. Those are the 3 that I want to go to when they open.
All right. Right on. No. That was a good one. That was a good one. I'm glad you covered up all the fluff of the, wide mouths and holes and all that jazz. We just can't have that. This is a family.
Look, man. My specialty is sausage.
I wasn't going to say it. I wasn't going to be the one. I wasn't going to be the one. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen,
I'm just here. I'm just Sausage Squire of OTP.
That's not a bad moniker.
because someone else took the moniker of Sausage King of Atlanta.
Who took who's the Sausage King of Atlanta? There we go, Switzerland again. When did this become NATO and like United Colors?
No, I was doing the Kermit meme.
Oh, I know. I don't know who's slinging better sauces than you in Georgia.
Exactly.
I don't know anyone.
We got a mic drop over here now.
I don't know.
No answers.
I have no idea what's going on. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a very confusing end to This Week in Barbecue, the barbecue-focused podcast that tells you the good, the bad, and everything between, but not naming names of certain particulars in the world of barbecue. I have been your host, Mr. Rasheed Phillips. Joining me is the true sausage slinging king, wide mouth filling,
ITP, OTP, whatever you want to call it.
ODP, GPT, Mr.
ODB. Let's just go ODB. Brian Hull.
And still judgmental, but a little bit more charming this episode, Mr.
Lee Garman.
You know what they say? Wu-Tang ain't nothing.
Dang. And on that note, be good to each other. Tell a friend to tell two friends, and we'll see you next time.